What if I told you that certain fruits contain more usable muscle-building protein per serving than eggs after age 75? I know that sounds impossible. We've all been taught that eggs are the gold standard for protein, and at younger ages they are. But after 75, something changes in your body that makes plant-based protein from specific fruits not just comparable to eggs, but potentially superior for building and maintaining muscle. Today I'm going to show you 3 high-protein fruits that recent research suggests may work better than eggs alone for preserving muscle mass and strength after 75. And the number 1 fruit contains protein compounds that activate muscle growth in ways that genuinely surprised Harvard researchers. Let me start by being clear. Eggs are an excellent protein source. 1 large egg contains about 6 grams of complete protein with all essential amino acids. There's nothing wrong with eggs. But here's what changes after 75 that makes relying only on egg protein problematic. Your body develops something called anabolic resistance. This means your muscle cells become less responsive to animal protein sources like eggs. You can eat 2 or 3 eggs every morning and still lose muscle month after month, because the protein absorption and utilization pathways in aging muscle become impaired. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that adults over 75 require not just more protein, but different types of protein to overcome this resistance. This is where high-protein fruits become fascinating. Certain fruits contain substantial amounts of complete or near-complete protein, often 3 to 4 grams per serving, which puts them in striking distance of eggs. But more importantly, the protein in these fruits comes packaged with specific plant compounds that enhance muscle protein synthesis, reduce inflammation, and improve blood flow to muscles. These compounds essentially unlock your muscle's ability to respond to protein again. A 2023 study in the Journal of Nutrition tracked over 800 adults aged 75 to 89. Those who combined moderate amounts of animal protein with high-protein plant foods, specifically certain fruits, gained measurably more lean muscle mass over 12 weeks than those who relied only on eggs, chicken, or dairy. We're talking about functional muscle that helped these seniors stand up from chairs faster, stabilize their balance, and increase grip strength in ways their doctors could actually measure. The 3rd highest protein fruit on this list delivers nearly 4 grams of complete protein in a single serving, and most people have never even heard of it. High-protein fruit number 3 is guava. And when I tell you the protein content of this tropical fruit, you're going to wonder why nobody talks about it. A single medium guava, which weighs about 100 grams, contains 4.2 grams of complete protein. Let me put that in perspective. That's 70% as much protein as a whole egg from a fruit. But here's where guava becomes truly exceptional for people over 75. The protein in guava is packaged with 4 times more vitamin C than in orange, and exceptionally high levels of a compound called quercetin. Vitamin C is absolutely essential for your body to synthesize collagen, which is the structural protein that holds muscles to bones and prevents the tears and strains that make exercise dangerous for older adults. Quercetin is a powerful anti-inflammatory that combats what scientists call inflammaging, the chronic low-grade inflammation that actively breaks down muscle tissue in older adults. This inflammation is one of the primary reasons why elderly people can eat adequate protein but still lose muscle. The inflammation essentially blocks the protein from being used effectively. A study at the University of Texas Health Science Center found that participants over 70 who consumed quercetin-rich foods daily for 8 weeks showed a 19% reduction in inflammatory markers and a corresponding increase in muscle protein synthesis. What this means practically is that the protein in guava doesn't just provide amino acids. It creates an environment where your muscles can actually use those amino acids to build tissue. You can eat guava raw like an apple, skin and all, because the skin contains the highest concentration of protein and quercetin. Or slice it in half, scoop out the flesh, and mash it into yogurt to create a protein-boosted breakfast with nearly 10 grams of protein total. For maximum muscle-building benefit, eat guava 30 to 45 minutes before any physical activity. But if guava surprised you, wait until you hear about fruit number 2, because this one contains more protein than most people realize and packages it with a unique type of fat that makes that protein significantly more effective. High-protein fruit number 2 is avocado. And yes, botanically, avocado is absolutely a fruit. Now, most people know avocado is healthy, but very few people realize it's actually a significant protein source. A medium avocado contains 4 grams of protein, putting it nearly on par with guava, and at about 2/3 the protein content of an egg. But what makes avocado's 4 grams of protein potentially more valuable than 6 grams from an egg after 75 is what comes with that protein. Avocado delivers nearly 15 grams of monounsaturated fat, and this fat is the key that unlocks your muscle's ability to absorb and use protein effectively. Your muscle cells are surrounded by a fatty membrane. As you age, this membrane becomes rigid and impermeable, meaning protein molecules have difficulty entering the cell where they're needed to build tissue. The monounsaturated fats in avocado literally repair these cell membranes, making them flexible and permeable again. This allows the protein, whether from the avocado itself or from other foods you're eating, to actually get inside the muscle cell. A landmark study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society followed 2,800 adults over 65 for 3 years. Those who consumed avocado at least 3 times per week retained significantly more muscle mass than those who didn't, even when total protein intake was identical between groups. This is profound because it demonstrates that the type of food delivering your protein matters just as much as the protein amount. Avocado is also one of the richest sources of potassium, containing over 700 milligrams per fruit. Potassium is essential for muscle contraction and prevents the cramping that makes it difficult for older adults to exercise consistently. Additionally, avocado provides all 9 essential amino acids, making its protein complete and highly bioavailable for muscle building. The simplest way to get avocado's muscle-building protein is to cut one in half, remove the pit, and eat it straight from the shell with a spoon. You can also mash it onto whole grain toast for a complete protein breakfast with nearly 8 grams total, or blend half an avocado into any protein smoothie. For peak benefit, consume avocado within 1 hour after exercise when your muscles are most receptive to protein. Now, the number 1 highest protein fruit for building muscle after 75 works through a mechanism that Harvard researchers described as unprecedented for a dietary protein source. The number 1 fruit protein for building muscle after 75 is jackfruit. And when you understand the protein profile of this enormous tropical fruit, you'll realize this might be one of nature's most powerful muscle-building foods. 1 cup of young jackfruit delivers nearly 3 grams of protein. Now you might think that's less than guava or avocado, so why is it number 1? Because jackfruit contains all 9 essential amino acids in nearly perfect ratios, making it one of the only plant foods with a complete amino acid profile that rivals animal protein. A 2022 study in the International Journal of Food Sciences analyzed the amino acid composition of jackfruit and found that its protein profile is remarkably similar to animal-based proteins, particularly in the concentration of leucine, isoleucine, and valine, the 3 branch-chain amino acids that directly trigger muscle protein synthesis. But here's what makes jackfruit's protein superior to egg protein after 75. Jackfruit protein comes packaged with potassium, magnesium, and vitamin B6, 3 nutrients that aging muscles desperately need to actually convert protein into muscle tissue. Without adequate B6, which many older adults are deficient in, all the protein in the world just passes through your system without building muscle. Jackfruit provides 30% of your daily B6 requirement in a single cup. Researchers at the University of Sydney tracked grip strength, one of the most important predictors of longevity and independence in seniors, in adults who consume jackfruit regularly. After 6 months, participants showed a 14% improvement in grip strength compared to a control group consuming equivalent protein from other sources. The magnesium in jackfruit acts as a natural muscle relaxant that helps muscles recover after any physical activity, even something as simple as walking. This recovery component is crucial because after 75, poor recovery is often what prevents people from exercising consistently, which leads to further muscle loss. You can find canned young jackfruit in most grocery stores in the international foods aisle. The young variety has a mild flavor and shredded texture similar to pulled chicken. Drain the can, pat the pieces dry, and sauté them with olive oil and seasonings for a warm, savory, high-protein meal in 10 minutes. You can also use ripe jackfruit, which is naturally sweet, in smoothies blended with banana and almond milk for a protein-packed breakfast with nearly 6 grams of complete protein. The key is consistency. Aim for at least 3 servings per week to see measurable changes in how your muscles feel and perform. For maximum protein absorption, pair jackfruit with a source of vitamin C like lemon juice, because vitamin C enhances plant protein bioavailability by up to 30% according to nutritional research. Let me show you how one 78-year-old woman used these 3 high-protein fruits to completely transform her muscle strength in just 3 months. Remember at the beginning, I mentioned that certain adults over 75 who combine traditional protein with high-impact fruits gained significantly more muscle than those relying only on eggs and dairy? Let me tell you about Patricia, a 78-year-old participant in one of these studies. Patricia was eating 2 eggs every morning, chicken at dinner, and getting about 60 grams of animal protein daily, which should have been adequate. But she kept losing strength. She struggled to get out of chairs. Her grip strength had declined to concerning levels. Her doctor, who was involved in nutrition research, suggested she add these 3 high-protein fruits to her diet while continuing her regular protein intake. Here's exactly what Patricia did. Every morning, she blended 1 guava into a smoothie with Greek yogurt, giving her about 8 grams of complete protein plus the quercetin to reduce muscle inflammation. Mid-morning, she had a serving of prepared jackfruit, either sautéed or in a wrap, adding another 3 grams of highly bioavailable complete protein with B6 and magnesium. With lunch or dinner, she added half an avocado, contributing 4 more grams of protein packaged with the fats her muscle cells needed to actually absorb and use all the protein she was consuming. The total protein from these 3 fruits alone was about 11 grams daily, but more importantly, these fruits provided the anti-inflammatory compounds, healthy fats, and cofactor nutrients that made all of her protein, including from eggs and chicken, work more effectively. After 12 weeks, Patricia's results were documented by her physician. Her grip strength increased 18%. Her leg press strength increased 22%. She could rise from a chair without assistance. Her doctor described the transformation as remarkable for someone her age. Patricia herself said she felt strong enough to do things she thought she'd lost forever, like gardening and playing with her great-grandchildren on the floor. What changed wasn't that Patricia replaced eggs. She enhanced them. She gave her aging muscles the specific plant-based proteins and supporting compounds they needed to overcome anabolic resistance, and finally respond to all the protein she'd been eating. So there you have it, 3 high-protein fruits that science shows can help you build and preserve muscle after 75 in ways eggs alone cannot match. Jackfruit, with its complete amino acid profile and muscle recovery magnesium. Guava, with 4 grams of anti-inflammatory protein that creates an environment where muscles can grow. And avocado, with 4 grams of protein packaged with the fats that literally unlock your muscle cells' ability to absorb nutrients. The beautiful part is that none of these require complicated preparation or expensive supplements. They're simple, natural, affordable protein sources you can start adding today. Your muscles are ready to respond. They just need the right protein in the right package. If this information helped you understand protein and muscle health differently, please subscribe so you never miss another video that could change your health. Thank you for watching.